I'm about to try something I have not done before, which is a live attempt at troubleshooting a non-working DIY guitar pedal. I just built this and I just finished it, or thought I finished it. I tested it outside the box. It worked fine. I put it in the box, no signal. So yeah, I have some guesses, of course, but I have not tested anything yet to see what the problem is. So that's what I'm going to be doing, with some hissing from my very noisy radiator in the background, as usual. So we do have a bypass signal. I'm running out from the pedal into my test box, which normally I use that for breadboarding. It supplies power to breadboards and so forth. But in this case, I'm using it because it also has a handy switch that enables an audio probe. So I'll be using that to poke around inside and see what's what. And I can easily switch between the pedal and let's see. If I turn this on, that's the probe. Okay. So now I've got that on a switch, so that's nice and convenient. If I power the pedal on, I do have LED, so that's good. We know the power supply is working. We know the LED is working. We know the 9-volt power is not shorted to ground, so that rules that out. But there is no signal of any kind when the effect is engaged. So that's what I'm going to be trying to figure out. And let's take a look. There is a long, crazy history of this particular build, which I will not go into, but this is a handmade PCB of an old-style rat circuit. As far as the circuit board layout, they made them like this in the early 80s. A random person on the internet made this and had an extra one and gave it to me a long, long time ago. And I wired it up, got it working, did a pretty bad job, but it worked for a long time. I recently decided to try to get I had a modified tone control, and I wanted to tweak that a little, and I wanted to put it in a nice new box because it was in a terrible one. So that's how I got started on this project. I got everything working until I put it in here. So we're going to try to see, where does the signal die? To do that, we're going to, that's pretty loud. I might want to turn that down some. Okay, so we're going to turn on the audio probe. We're going to play guitar and see how far does the signal get. So let me see. This is the input, the white wire to the switch. Presumably, yep. We get to the switch. Do we get from the switch to the board? That's this white wire that has some Sharpie labeled in. Where does that go? That's here, I think. That's interesting. Maybe that's the problem right there. Am I touching the right contact? Let's double check that. Huh. Okay. Well, right off the bat, that's bad. I don't hear anything there. Is this a bad connection? Wait, is the pedal enabled? Yes, it is. So, that never happens. The very first thing checks that. Okay, so it's here, from here. Then the switch is also working. This wire be working. Let's see if I touch the actual end of the wire. Oh, yeah, there's signal there. Am I touching the right trace? It's a little hard to tell. You got to flip it over and make sure you're looking at the right thing. Oh no, I think it's here. Is it this? Okay, it's there. I'm probably going to resolder this because that looks dodgy. But it seems, aside from, you know, the signal kind of comes and goes from an audio probe while you're touching things because conductivity might not be perfect. Okay, so signal gets to the board. let's jump ahead a bit. I want to see at the op amp. You probably can't see that. I'm gonna zoom in quite a bit. Let's see, pin 1 is there's a little marking here that indicates the corner. Pin 3 is where the input signal comes in. Pin 2 is the inverting input, so there's a feedback gain loop there. Do I remember where the output is? I believe it's pin 6. So let's poke around at those and see if we get that far. Here's 3. Okay. There is signal going into the op amp. Ooh. Okay, we've got this distorted signal on the inverting input, which I would expect. That's good. Okay, where's pin 6? I mean, that'll work because those are more or less connected together. Wait, 5, 4, 5. No, this is 6. Sorry. Ha Hell yeah. All right, that works. We know there's power on the board. We know the distortion is working. I'm going to turn the gain down because that was a lot. Let's back up a bit and work backwards from the output a bit, and try to converge on where things go wrong. Okay, so my output signal wire here. Okay, the output from the board is this blue one. Yep, and that's not surprising. There's nothing there. Let's see. Oh, and that goes to the volume pot. That's the center lug of the volume pot. Let's see if we have anything there. Nope. And let's see, which end of this is which? Oh yeah, lug 1 is connected to ground. So this would be coming from... Yeah, this would be coming from the board to the volume. We've got nothing there. Where does this brown wire connect? It's over here. Move that up a bit. Okay, so here's this brown wire. Should be output from the board. We've got nothing there. So, somewhere between the op amp and the output, there is nothing. This FET, yeah, this is a JFET buffer. I should look at the schematic because I do not know offhand which pin is what here. Oh, here comes the cat to help out. Yes, that's very helpful. Thank you. Okay. I may need to pause and dig up a schematic, which I meant to do before this, but did not. Let's just jump to a spot in the middle where I know what's going on, which is the tone control. There's a yellow and a green wire going to the tone control. Let's see. I don't remember which is which. I think, okay, yeah, I do remember this. There should be signal here where this green wire comes out. Move that over. Yep, I know it's hard to probably see, but yeah. There should be signal here because this is where we get to the filter. There's nothing there, I don't think. What's going on? Green and yellow up at the, from this side, right edge of the board. Yeah, and this wiring here is a mess. This is where the magic tone control mod happened. Once again, it worked outside of the box. Let's poke around here and see what we got. A whole lot of nothing. I'm going to pause and dig up the schematic so I know for sure what's what. I have dug up several versions of schematics for the RAT, including a hand-drawn one of my tone control mod. And I think what I'm going to do for my own sanity, because there are no part numbers on this board, is put some numbers on things to orient myself, especially when I'm looking at the back of the board. Yeah, so I'm not gonna number everything, just enough to kind of be oriented and know what should be what. Yeah, so first of all, we know we had signal here coming out of the op amp, and we know that we did not have signal after the tone control. In fact, I checked both of the lugs of the tone control. So there's a very narrow space here where things are not working. I got several hand-drawn, probably unreadable to anyone but me, versions of the tone control mod. I'll probably have to redo these part numbers because they may or may not make sense depending on whose version of a RAT schematic you're looking at. Some of these are new parts. And so, okay, so this I'm pretty sure is called C7 pretty much everywhere. So yeah, there's not a lot. I don't know. It could be as simple as we have a broken connection between right here. You know, between this cap and this resistor are still there. Although I've seen different versions of the RAT schematic where these two are in different orders. It doesn't matter that much sonically. So yeah, we may have a problem just right here. So I'm gonna try to label these guys C7, R6, D1, D2. Let's find those. So let's see, it's an electrolytic cap coming right off of the, I think that's these guys, probably. Let's see. Yeah, because the output is coming out of pin 6, which is here. Yeah, so if I look at the traces on the other side, that's probably, okay, so this is probably the resistor. This is definitely the cap. And the diodes are over here, and the wires to the tone controller there. So, yeah, let's see what's what there. This is, what size cap is this? Let's just double check that, if I can see. Is there an angle where I can see markings on it? Not real well. Okay. Oh yeah, 4.7. That's what that should be. Yep. So this is definitely C7. So let's find that on the back. That's gonna be here. Okay, this marker doesn't want to write on here. Let's try, let's see, plain old fine point black Sharpie. I had one of those up here, and it migrated, as they like to do. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is, that sort of works. C7 is here to here, and then that's, okay, yeah. On the actual board here, got the resistor first and then the cap. So this is, yep, this is R6. Huh. Yeah, this kind of makes you appreciate having a nice professionally printed board that has part numbers and little outlines on them and stuff. Isn't that great? Okay, so we want to check those. And then how do we get from there to the diodes? There's a trace here. Okay, had to restart because the camera stopped. I ran out of space. I think I'm just going to label the diodes, and that should be enough for me to stay oriented. I do want to show one little trick, which is for an old single-sided board like this, if nothing is labeled, you can take a flashlight and shine it through, and that can help you see. Well, yeah, it can help you see which parts correspond to which traces, especially from this side. Like, it may not show up very well on the camera, but where the traces go under the parts. So that can be a little helpful. So, let's see. The diodes are over here. All right, something like that. Gonna go back to the audio probe. Turn the amp back on. All right, there's the bypass. Do we have power? We do. We have no signal. Ah, now audio probe is on. Man, that is a lot of buzz. Okay, so let's see. Let's check. Do we have anything here? Seems like not. That's the output of the op amp. Let me turn the gain up a tiny bit. Oh yeah, it's all the way down. Yes, kitty. Cat had something to say. All right, let's see. All right, that's loud. All right, so we get to this side of the resistor. Interesting. We're getting nothing after C7. All right, well, I now have localized the problem. But what is the problem? Could be something over here sorted to ground. Not sure. Okay, so time to turn off the audio probe, and I'm going to break out the multimeter. Okay, so just for giggles, actually, I'm going to confirm that on the other side of the board where the capacitor actually is. I'm gonna probe the legs of the capacitor. That's interesting. Got nothing. Oh, it's not on. All right, I was on bypass. And I hear nothing now. Wow. Why? Oh, the probe's not on. Heh. Okay. And let's see. Can I put this where you can see it? Oh boy. How long has that been like that? Well, my video making skills could use some work. Have to back up a bit because I knocked something in front of the camera. Okay, so back to the audio probe. I think, so we've figured out that we have signal before this cap and not after. Nothing here. And see, this is interesting. The buzzing goes silent when I touch this spot. It also goes silent if I touch ground. That makes me think that there's a short somewhere over here to ground. So I'm gonna get the multimeter and try to make sure I keep it where it's visible. Put it in continuity mode so it'll beep. Wait a minute. Got nothing. Oh no, that's continuity mode. Okay, let's pull the power. Here, just touch any two things that are definitely connected, like this and this. Yep, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna clip one end of this to ground. All right, yep, there we go. Okay, so the theory is this is grounded. Yes, it is. That should not be happening. Where could that be? Oh, well, since everything worked out of the box and not in the box, is it possible? Oh, I have a theory. Oh, I just realized something. Okay, here's the filter pot. There's a big lock washer on it. It's a little too big, but it's just what I had. That is touching the case, so it's grounded, and I think it may be touching the lugs of the pot. Let's see if those are all grounded. Yep, they are. Okay, so I'm gonna pause because it'll be boring to watch me undo some hardware. It should be that if I take this pot off of the case, that everything will work. Okay, so I took out this lock washer. Oh, and look at that, the sun came out while I was doing that. But I think this should now work. This will be the moment of truth, or a possible moment of truth. Okay, always remember to check which jack is input and which is output, because it's very easy to get it wrong when the pedal is upside down. I've done that so many times. Okay, do I have the right plugs? Do I have power? Okay, there's bypass. Ha-ha! There it is. We have signal. Cool, okay. All right, I'm gonna box this thing up for real and play through it a bit. Actually, I lied. Before I box it up, while I was poking around, I noticed a couple solder joints that look especially dodgy. And while I don't want to mess with what's here too much, because I already have gone down that route, and believe it or not, this is the somewhat cleaned up version of this board. There's probably some background noise because I'm running the fan. But yeah, this one right here, there's a component leg that is basically sitting on top of a blob of solder. That does not look good. Do I need to do anything other than reflow that? Maybe not. Well, okay, first let me see, is it gonna fall out when I touch it? Because that often happens. Heat-resistant tweezers are useful for all kinds of things, including holding a thing that doesn't want to go where you want it to go. Smush that down. Let's see if I can find a good angle. I feel like a lot of this kind of thing is about finding the right angle to approach from. Okay. Not very clean at all. Might want to add a little solder. This would not be so much of an issue on a professionally manufactured board, but this one doesn't really have much in the way of pads around the you know, there's these oversized holes and there's some copper around them. It's not super easy to work on. I almost feel like I'm working on perf board. I do want to add some more solder. Is it going to pop up again if I do that? It might. Oh, it's okay. Ah, it did kind of pop up. Wish I had free hands. Okay. All right. Once again, not the cleanest, but that's way more solid than what was there before. And this looks pretty bad too, right next to it. A very finicky skill that I'm not great at. I've recently been doing some builds on professionally made PCBs, and it is so much easier. One of my plans is to learn to make my own PCBs. Okay, that looks better. Is there anything else that I want to revisit? This down here looks like a similar kind of thing where there's a leg that's kind of sitting on top of a blob of solder that it's probably not super well attached to. So I'm going to do that one too. That looks better. Okay. I'm not going to try to clean up the more blobby things because a lot of them are like the solder is holding the crap together. Maybe we're okay and should leave it at that. I'm going to test it again and then hopefully box it up. right. The whole reason I did this mod in the first place was because I really like the attack and the sort of snarl of a rat on bass, but it kills too much lows and it's a little too mid-forward. So, okay, something like that for a clean tone. Turn the gain way down and see what happens. Looking for a sort of bitey overdrive. A little more, whoa, sensitive. A little more treble maybe. Too much. Now let's see. Make it a little louder so you hear less, more amp and less string noise. All right, now let's see. Try the 2 pickup thing. Okay. There's a clean. A little too trebly maybe. Air more drive. Something like that. Let's go for a full-on bass fuzz. One last thing, just to kind of show the motivation for why I modded this thing. I'm going to compare it to, I don't have a hardware actual rat, but there's an emulator of one in my in the amp I'm playing through, which is a Spark 40. Not the best amp, but you know, whatever, it'll do. So there's my clean tone. So that's a stock rat with low gain, filter rolled off a fair amount, kind of using it as an overdrive. So I like that sound. It's a little murky in the mids, and it cuts the lows too much for me to really like it on bass. Like you know. So here's the low E. There's so much more low on the clean. I don't know how much you can hear that on the iPhone and this little amp, but yeah. So here's the CANARAT, which I've adjusted pretty similar. just comparing that to stock rec. Yeah. So, I don't know. Pretty happy with it. I haven't tried it with a band yet. We'll see.